European competition nights are always filled with anticipation. For some clubs, these matches are about confirming their pedigree; for others, they represent an opportunity to prove themselves against stronger opposition. The following fixtures: Fiorentina vs Sigma Olomouc, Rayo Vallecano vs Shkendija, FC Porto against Red Star, Celtic meeting Braga, and Dynamo Kyiv taking on Crystal Palace, offer a mix of tradition, tactical intrigue, and passionate support. Every game carries its own story. From Italian control to Spanish resilience, from Portuguese dominance to Scottish grit, and from Eastern European intensity to English determination, these matches reflect the diversity of football across the continent. Below, each contest is broken down with a predicted correct score, expected outcome, and flowing assessment of what may unfold. Fiorentina vs Sigma Olomouc. Correct score, 2-0. Prediction: Fiorentina win. Fiorentina enter this match as heavy favourites. Playing at home in Florence provides not only the comfort of familiar surroundings but also the energy of supporters who demand attacking football. The Italian side are tactically disciplined, strong in possession, and capable of turning sustained pressure into goals. Sigma Olomouc are spirited, and they will not simply roll over. However, the gap in quality and experience is significant. Their most realistic approach is to sit deep, defend with numbers, and hope to hold Fiorentina at bay for as long as possible. Yet over 90 minutes, it is hard to see them resisting continuously. A 2-0 scoreline feels right, one goal to break through, another to confirm the result, with Fiorentina's authority shining through. Rayo Vallecano vs Shkendija. Correct score, 1-0. Prediction: Rayo Vallecano win. Matches in Vallecas often reflect the character of the community, hard-fought, gritty, and fueled by passion. Rayo Vallecano are not a glamorous powerhouse, but at home they are stubborn, organized, and relentless. Against Shkendija, the expectation is that Rayo will control the game, forcing the visitors into long periods of defending. Shkendija will likely focus on compactness, looking for rare counter-attacking chances. While they may frustrate Rayo for stretches, the Spanish side usually find a way to grind out a result on their own pitch. The game may not be filled with goals, but efficiency should be enough. A 1-0 win for Rayo Vallecano looks like the most fitting outcome. FC Porto vs Red Star. Correct score, 2-0. Prediction: FC Porto win. When FC Porto play in front of their supporters at the Estádio do Dragão, they rarely fail to impress. Portuguese football prides itself on technical quality, tactical discipline, and relentless pressure, and Porto embody all three traits. Facing Red Star, a side known for physicality and determination, this will be a battle of contrasting styles. Porto, however, have the tools to control proceedings. They are patient in possession, clinical when opportunities appear, and experienced in handling high-pressure matches. Red Star may fight bravely, but away from home against such an opponent, the task becomes overwhelming. The prediction of 2-0 mirrors Porto's likely dominance. A goal in each half would not be surprising, with the hosts asserting control throughout. Celtic vs Braga. Correct score, 1-0. Prediction: Celtic win or draw. Celtic Park on a European night is one of football's iconic experiences. The atmosphere can overwhelm even the strongest of opponents, and that is exactly what Braga will face in Glasgow. Celtic's intensity at home often carries them, pressing high, moving the ball quickly, and thriving under the noise of their fans. Braga are a disciplined Portuguese side, difficult to break down and always capable of counter-attacking with precision. They will not make things easy, and the contest is likely to remain close. However, Celtic's home strength gives them an edge. A 1-0 win is the prediction, though the safer call remains Celtic win or draw. The atmosphere, resilience, and narrow margins all point toward a tight contest decided by a single strike. Dynamo Kyiv vs Crystal Palace. Correct score, 0-1. Prediction: Crystal Palace win or draw. Dynamo Kyiv are always formidable at home, supported by fans who demand effort and resilience. They typically play with intensity, aiming to unsettle visiting sides with directness and physical play. Crystal Palace, though, bring the challenge of Premier League quality. Even away from home, they are organised, strong defensively, and capable of creating chances through patient build-up and sudden bursts forward. Against a side like Dynamo Kyiv, Palace's composure could prove crucial. This match may be decided by a fine margin. The most likely scenario is Palace staying solid, seizing a single chance, and protecting their lead. A 0-1 prediction feels realistic, with the outcome leaning toward a Palace win or at least a draw. Fiorentina vs Sigma Olomouc, correct score 2-0, Fiorentina win. Rayo Vallecano vs Shkendija, correct score 1-0, Rayo Vallecano win. FC Porto vs Red Star, correct score 2-0, FC Porto win. Celtic vs Braga, correct score 1-0, Celtic win or draw. Dynamo Kyiv vs Crystal Palace, correct score 0-1, Crystal Palace win or draw. This round of fixtures highlights the different layers of European football. Fiorentina are expected to underline their authority against Sigma Olomouc, while Rayo Vallecano look to prove that grit and persistence at home are enough to secure victory against Shkendija. FC Porto aim to demonstrate their dominance in Portugal by subduing Red Star with controlled efficiency. Celtic, driven by their home atmosphere, face a stern challenge in Braga, but their resilience should deliver a result. Dynamo Kyiv against Crystal Palace represents a fascinating duel of Eastern European passion against English organisation, likely to be decided by the smallest details. Football thrives on variety, different nations, different styles, and different traditions all colliding on one stage. From the tactical chess matches to the emotional rollercoasters, these fixtures remind us why European competition is so cherished. Every prediction points toward narrow wins, defensive battles, and moments of brilliance that tilt games in favor of those who stay disciplined and focused. As the final whistles blow, fans will not only look back at scores but at the stories created, the roar of the home crowd, the resilience of underdogs, and the composure of favorites who rose to the occasion. Another chapter of European nights will be written, and supporters everywhere will once again be reminded why these contests mean so much.